Hi guys, welcome back to another video of Q1 FY26. In today's video, we are going to be discussing all the companies that posted result on 16th of July, that is yesterday, right? And again, as usual, just like the previous video, we are going to be segregating the companies into, good, decent, poison stocks and the shit stocks, right? And a lot of you all in the previous video you were asking me to put the company's name in the title, but unfortunately I won't be able to do that. If it is on Twitter, yes, I can do it, but if it's on YouTube, I can't, because there is a 100-word limit in the title. So what I'm going to do is probably the first few names that are there I can try to incorporate in the title, and the other names that are there I'll put it in the description box below, so you all can like check the description box for for the names that you want, right? Anyways, today we have almost around 14 companies to go through that got out its result on the 16th of July, and we will be analyzing all of them. Okay, so first let us start with Angel One, and this is the most common requested, one of the, I would say, most common requested names in my DMs, I'll tell you. And I do not know why all of, like, many of you are probably still like surprised looking at this company's numbers, because if you look at Angel One, there was a point when we had a really good cycle for Angel One, where everything was going great for them. It made money also and everything. But as you remember, there came one SEBI का एक ban आ गया था, because a lot of people were doing this F&O and they wanted to curb these futures and options में जो ये trading हो रहा था, they wanted to curb it. So they got back to back 2 to 3 regulation changes that were there that killed the volumes over here completely. Now when you talk about Angel One, when you talk about 5 Paisa Capital, even Geojit for that matter, right? How do these people make money? See, these are like online broking platforms, right? The more people do F&O, right? Because think about it, how does Angel One make money? Every time you place a trade order, right, they take a part of that, right? It could be the minimum percentage, or that, I don't know what, 60 rupees or something, right? They have that minimum amount that they take, right? Now think about this. If you are curbing, if you're telling you're banning F&O volumes, you're putting so many regulations, you're making it harder for a person to trade, for a retail to trade, then what will happen? The volumes will come down, more people will be reluctant to play that F&O ka game, lesser people play the F&O ka game, lesser money Angel One will make now. So the same thing is happening over here also. Like if you look at Angel One ka volumes, that the number of orders that are there, like see, the more orders a trader will place, or the person is placing, the more money Angel One will make, right? It's a pure to pure volume game. यहाँ पे value growth का उतना कुछ है ही नहीं ultimately, right? So obviously अगर आपका orders ही जो है it is falling by 25% on a year-on-year basis, then sales भी गिरेगा ना. So I don't understand why a lot of you all were like really surprised, because जब ये news आया था, this regulatory का news जो है, that they're doing this regulation का changes, which SEBI had done. I mean, after that, immediately a month after that, once the regulation started taking effect, you saw that, the updates they used to get, because companies like Angel One, 5 Paisa, all who are operating in this space, they give out updates every month, right? Like, kya hua? Like, you'll get June ka update in July, right? You'll get to know what is happening. And it was very visible over there. Jo month on month, jo orders hota tha, ya year on year changes hota tha, you used to see that, like the orders that used to grow by like 50% and all, it started growing hardly by 20. It started, like first the pace of the growth, or the pace of that order ka growth jo hai, that started falling, right? I mean, that was a clear cut indication, and after that it has never recovered at all, right? Like after this F&O ka jo regulations changes hua tha, which was, I believe, somewhere in the last financial year. I don't remember exactly which quarter it was, but it is, and obviously jab tak that F&O ka volumes upar nahi aata hai, then there is it becomes hard for a company like Angel One, which operates on a broking platform mainly. It's hard to make money. But yes, now they're planning to like venture out into new ways, because wahi, right? Because this entire यहाँ पे broking का एक ही बड़ा risk है कि like you do not know when the regulator will come and change some things. And think about it, right? Like कितना अच्छे से hunky dory was going on, like everything was so perfect for Angel One, I believe, until last H1, and just after that just like one regulation, and just see how it has impacted their entire business, how it's been tough for them over here. So I would call Angel One a poison stock, just based on the result, and just looking at the order and everything. I do not know what the management commentary has been like, if there is any forward looking statement that seems to be positive or not, but just based on the numbers and everything, it's just not like the cycle has turned here, the cycle has gone upside down. So I would say because of that it is a poison stock. The other second company we'll be doing is DB Corp, which is also another poison stock. DB Corp, just like today morning's video that we did, there was one company, right? Network 18. Both of these are poison stocks because यहाँ पे see what does DB Corp do? These people make newspapers. Think about it. आज के ज़माने में कोई भी newspaper पढ़ता है क्या? नहीं, right? That only should give you like a little bit indication कि like यहाँ पे like see think about it. Who reads newspaper? We all get our news through social media and Twitter and various other social media platforms, right? So first of all newspaper का ही कुछ demand ही नहीं है. It's a sunset industry at the end of the day. यहाँ पे if you see last Q1 में these people were a loss making company. It is a sales keeps degrowing over here. थोड़ा तो sales था last Q1 में. Why? Because last Q1 there was elections के time में all these political parties put out a lot of advertisements, right? Because of which last Q1 में उनका थोड़ा सा वो growth था. अभी obviously this Q1 में कौन सा election, क्या election, nothing. So the base is normalized over here. So this is one big poison stock I can tell you. ठीक है. The third company that we will be doing is ITC Hotels. ITC Hotels अगर आप देखते हो इसका business model, as you all know there are these ITC brand का एक hotels रहता है. These people manage that, okay? यहाँ पे if you look at them, 50% of the revenue comes from ITC hotels, where you go and stay, right? That kind of hotels. 40% of the revenue comes from the food and beverage. Like there are restaurants inside these 5-star and 7-star hotels where you can go and eat. So this is the other 40%. Obviously, these restaurants also cater to a lot of institutions. Again, that is also part of F&B. And the 10% of the business comes from others over here. ठीक है. अगर आप इसका result देखते हो यहाँ पे, if you look at the sales grew by 16% and the PAT that is there, PAT grew by 47%. Now, one thing over here, if you compare it, considering the base of the hotel, base of the company, it is a 50,000 crore market cap का company. उस base में अगर आप 15% if you are able to grow, I would say it is decent. It is not the best. Obviously, it's not like everything is going hunky dory over here. Base low है, आपको P rating मिल जाएगा and everything. No, but decent enough कि like इस बड़ा base में they're able to at least clock so much, right? That is, I would say it's pretty decent. It's not bad. It's decent enough over here. In fact, if you look at it, there is another company called as Banaras Hotel, which is a very smaller company compared to ITC Hotel, which also grew its sales by like 18%. So considering, if you have to consider that versus ITC Hotels, which is like such a big base, I think it is a decent job they've been able to do that. Now, अगर आप उसका business के segment में जाते हो, one is the hotels, which is a huge part, 50%. यहाँ पे the majority of the revenue has come, by increasing your room rent. If you talk about this average daily rent that is there, or you can call it as आपका value growth, just like how we have ARPOB in hospitals, right? It is up by 9%, okay, which is good. ठीक है, इसके वजह से उनको थोड़ा push मिला है in terms of sale. Food and beverage industry में that part of the segment which contributes 40% to the sale, that grew 13%. Now यहाँ पे actually they have started catering a lot more to these institutions, catering का business they've started, which has given this push of 13% that is there. ठीक है. Other than that, if you look उसका expansion plans, if you look at it, right, like उनका अभी there are around 13,000 odd rooms and they want to take it up to 20,000 rooms by 2030. So in a span of 5 to 6 years, they want to take it up to that 20,000 rooms from a base of 13,000. So अगर आप बेड का रूम का कैपेसिटी जब आप इंक्रीज देख रहे हो, इट इज समवेयर बिटवीन 8 to 10% का इंक्रीज, राइट, लाइक वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ यू कैन गेट, राइट, एंड द वैल्यू ग्रोथ थिंक अबाउट इट. इफ यू लुक एट ARR, एवरेज रेवेन्यू दैट इज देयर, रेंट का रेवेन्यू दैट इज देयर, फॉर एनी होटल्स फॉर दैट मैटर, द एवरेज रेवेन्यू रेंट ऑल्सो ग्रोज समवेयर बिटवीन 8 to 10%. So roughly you can expect a 15 to 16% kind of growth, या 15 to 16% kind of CAGR, for the upcoming 5 to 6 years, that is there. But overall, I would say decent number over here. Yes, it becomes very hard here to get a P rating with this growth at this base. 50,000 crore का company, 15% का growth, very hard to get a P rating over here. But having said that, it is a good, I would say a good or a decent set of numbers over here. And relatively, I would say it's much better compared to the other at least companies that are there. Okay, nothing bad, nothing much to complain over here. But also at the same time, there is nothing like the result is not like your jaws are dropping on the floor either, right? So that is that. Next, another company, the fourth company that we'll be doing is a very interesting company. I swear to God, I never expected this kind of results from this company. That is Ixigo. Okay, Ixigo जो है, I think most of you all would have used Ixigo का platform, right? Ixigo that is there, it is an online platform where you can book tickets for hotels, flights, bus and train. Okay, so mainly they have this Ixigo platform which is for flight and hotels and trains also. They also have another called as common what is that common, I think confirm something, which is for train tickets. Then they have another company called as Abibus, which is for buses, to book your bus ka ticket. They also have recently started a venture called as Zoop, which is a food delivery business, like delivering your food when you're on train. I think even Zomato also does that, right? So these are the business segments that they have. Now, very interesting thing is, because when they got listed, right, they used to be a mere 20 to 30% kind of growth engine. Now you see the pace of growth over the last 3 quarters, has slowly been up, because last time if you see Q4 on Q4, they were like a 45-50% kind of growth. This time when you see Q1 on Q1, it is a 75% kind of growth engine, right? So you can see, right, 40 say 50 say 70, pace of growth is going up and up and up. When you see other companies, we talk mostly about pace of growth going down. Here can you see the direction of the company, pace of growth is going up. Okay, agar aap other transaction, the other not transaction, sorry, the other metrics that we talk about, do not look at the PAT over here, because the tax paid this year is higher compared to last year. So PAT only grew by 27%, so you might feel like there is no operating leverage, but that is not the case. On a PBT level, they have grown really well. Similarly, if you look at margins also, EBITDA margins also is very fantastic, because if you look at it, for the last years like FY23, 24, 25, they've improved from 8%, 9%, 10, and now at at 10.1%. So there has been a gradual improvement even in terms of margin. It is not like they're getting the sales, like sales is shit. Then it's not like the sales is coming at a cost of margins either. So overall, a really good set of numbers even from these people. The other thing over here to notice is gross transaction value. Okay, now gross transaction value becomes very important in any online business that you're doing, right? In any online platform business, because gross transaction value gives you an idea of how volume as well as value growth is going. It is a combination of both. Okay, just to give you a simple example of GTV. Now let's say if you're going to Ixigo platform to book a flight ticket from Bangalore to Calcutta, right? Now you have the flight cost, which is 7,000 rupees. You have the convenience fee, you have some other fees and everything. Now the total cost that I am paying if I'm booking a flight on Ixigo platform, it is 8,000 rupees. But all this 8,000 rupees is not the revenue of Ixigo, right? Because a part of it is going to go for airplane, a part of it is going to go for some other fees, right? But so this entire fees that I as a customer will pay, that is GTV, right? The final bill that I am paying or you are paying, that is GTV. Okay, but GTV is not revenue. Please understand, every revenue that Ixigo makes is a part of GTV, but all of GTV is not revenue, right? Because agar wo 8,000 mein hai, Ixigo ko contribution will be like hardly 1 or 2, whatever percentage point it is, but there will be like many other people over here, like there can be Indigo, various other platforms that is there. Agar aap hotel kharid rahe ho to hotel ka aapko rent dena padta and everything. So I hope you can understand this. GTV also that is there, it grew by 55%. Okay, so like I told you, in all metrics that is there, whether it is the amount of people coming and visiting the platform, the amount of people transacting, everything is good. Why did I tell GTV is a combination of both volume and value? Is because think about it. When will GTV increase? When the more number of people come and use your platform, the more transactions that they do, GTV will increase. The other way GTV can increase how? When the other way GTV can increase is, let's say earlier I was doing 8,000 rupees ka ticket. Now I'm doing like probably 50,000 rupees ka ticket. Higher the value, higher the commission of also Ixigo, right? So this is the reason. So like I told you, sales hai, margins are improving, right? You see that GTV is improving. All other metrics that are there, fantastic over here. But the problem I have over here with Ixigo is, I'll tell you the catch 2022 situation over here is, unlike when you talk about Zomato and Swiggy, right? Like when you talk about them, there is a sort of duopoly over there. But when you talk about this online ticketing platform, there is no duopoly or monopoly. There are multiple players over here, right? You have Ixigo, you have Make My Trip, you have that Booking.com, Agoda. Like there are many people over here, right? So it's I don't know, like when you're not that only person over here, I think it becomes very hard for you to like justify the kind of valuation that is. And see, these kind of businesses that are there, the new age startups that is there, one thing I don't like about them is, they get listed only at like this very, very absurd valuations that is there, right? Like absolutely absurd, right? Because think about it, like, see, all of these people would have done this seed round, VC funding, PE, that and this, and all of these people would need exit. So kya karte? IPO में लाओ, dump कर दो यहाँ पे, right, and dump it at extremely exorbitant high valuation that कि like everybody else who invested previously can get an exit. That is the ultimate plan of getting into IPO with all these companies that are there. So I understand that part, but here's the thing. Right now, I understand the pace of growth is increasing, the growth is back, everything, all the metrics are doing great, all in all, fantastic set of numbers. One thing for me that खटखटाता है यहाँ पे is it is a high growth, high PE वाला engine. Okay, see you get a lot of money made when the growth is high and the PE is low, because यहाँ पे EPS का growth भी मिलता है आपको, आपका PE का re-rating भी होता है. यहाँ पे क्या होता है ना, as long as the growth is there, the shareholder will make money. Okay, you will make money over here as long as it is growing. But when the growth goes, now when I tell growth goes, it doesn't have to be like you go from a 70% engine to like 10% engine. No, even when the pace of growth like shakes a little bit, 70 से 50 भी हो जाते हैं ना, you as a shareholder will get fucked over here. What I mean to tell is like think about it like you're in this Mumbai ka local train, you're holding that, I don't know what you call it, you hold that and stand, and when your station comes, you have to be like boom, you have to be willing to ready and like get the fuck out of that train, right? You have to be there. Okay, otherwise what will happen, the train can get run over by you. So that is the thing over here with Ixigo. As long as you're able to track this company and you know like it's going to grow, it's going to be a high growth engine, going to like increase the pace of sales growth, going to or maintain that 70-60% kind of sales growth, well and good, you will make money over here. But be very careful over here ki like when that growth goes na, it's like riding a tiger. When that growth goes, you have to get out. So be very careful over here. If you're entering these kind of place, make sure you exit. You are one of those people, this is a problem with playing high growth, high PE stocks, that your exit, you have to be very swift in terms of exiting. You can't let your emotions play over here, right? That is one thing. So that's that with Ixigo. I need to catch up with the con call of Ixigo. Like I told you, like all I'm doing right now is result, like just looking at the PPT and the what do you call that, the result document, and giving you this commentary. Other than that, I'll have to like really catch up with the con call and see like that if probably the tone continues to remain positive, or is there any kind of headwind that can change this narrative or not. Okay, then the fifth company that we have is JTL Industries. JTL Industry, as you know, these people make the steel ka, the pipe and tube that is there, which goes on to be used in a lot of engineering works. Now over here with any steel companies that you see, right, first right off the bat, over here when you see that the volume growth is fantastic, right? The volume is growing 26% for some people on a year, like JTL ka volume grew 26% on a year-on-year basis and 30% on a QOQ basis. I think the new company that is, I think is Sambhag Steels, I'm not sure. I think that grew volumes by 50. So you will see that volumes are great, fantastic, double digit, high double digit volume. The problem over here with these steel companies for the last, I think a year and a half, I think it's been more than a year, there has been a lot of value ka degrowth over here, right? Because steel ka prices have been falling like crazy. I think steel ka prices have been corrected 15% in the last 1 year. So what is happening is यहाँ पे volume growth हो रहा है, but value का degrowth इतना हो रहा है कि like sales is a combination of both, right? Volume plus value. Volume is good, value is not there. So ultimately your sales is getting screwed over here. That is it, right? So if you look at it, volume is great, but EBITDA जो हम बोलते हैं ना per ton यहाँ पे, last time it was 4,500, this time it is somewhere around 2,000 rupees, like EBITDA per ton, like 2,000 something in that range. So obviously think about it, right? Like इतना value का issue हो रहा है, and this is the problem I'll tell you with any steel pipe, steel, like basically guys, if you are playing any commodity, right? Like if you're playing any company जिसका raw material है commodity and उसका value growth is dependent on that commodity price का fluctuation, please do not invest looking at the updates of the company. Wait for the entire income statement to come, क्योंकि क्या होता है updates में वो तो सिर्फ volume growth देते हैं, ठीक है? So updates में you will see कि like oh कितना अच्छा volume growth है, let me put my money behind it, and then comes sales, you will see like volume in the update you saw 40-50%, and then you see sales growth hardly 5%. Like it's terrible because of that. The volume growth in the steel companies now, it doesn't give you a full picture over here. So JTL का problem वही है, although the volume growth is there, the sales is getting it's getting completely hammered because of this degrowth in the value in the steel companies. Now here I'll tell you my own personal story with JTL. I don't know, I think like a year and a half ago, JTL was all the hype, right? Like they used to grow sales by 60-70%, and I still remember one of the like management like calls. They I think they were clocking around 800 or 900 crore in terms of run rate, and they mentioned that they will do 10,000 crore in terms of revenue. Like I still remember that call. I doubted myself, like, bro, did I hear this right? And the next quarter comes, I think they did well, and the quarter after that, like they had this, they were raising money for QIP, and whoever they raised the money from QIP, I think that Tibernewal or somebody, like, he was involved in that betting case, and ED raid had happened, a lot of negative things, and after that, literally the next quarter, this happened, where the volume growth is there in the update, but sales growth is not at all there. You people ask me, right, like, why do I not go, like a massive allocation at once? Like, when I find a new opportunity, why do I incrementally keep increasing my allocation and reward it over a period of time? Because yes, guess where I learned that hard lesson from is JTL. Because yeah, this company, I hate this company so much because of that. Like really, I think I'll probably make a video on this some other time, like talking about like how I lost money on this. But but since I'm really good at cutting, I really sell quickly. I think I just took like a I don't remember, I think it was at 170, 180, I'm not sure, and I think I had to exit at 130, 140, something in that range. But yeah, like, it's never improved after that, and I'm glad. Anyways, then there is another company called as Cabra Extrusion, which cancelled their result, and they're going to give their result God knows when. Then there is Kalapatru, which is a real estate company, guys. I don't want to track real estate companies because I'll tell you something, I'll never have the confidence to put my money in real estate. So when I know I'm not going to put my money in real estate, I can never take that company, like I can never read that company seriously. The reason that I'm able to push myself, and I'm able to read is because I know that any of my companies can fuck up today, and I need to like find opportunities constantly, right, to churn. So I know that I'll never churn my money to real estate. So again, the reason is because PSP projects used to be one of the holdings. This was like 2021, somewhere at that time. They told they'll grow by a certain percentage, guidance दिया था. Next quarter आता है, कुछ नहीं करता है, underperformed the guidance, and they gave the reason कि it is rainy season, so all the construction work is halted. I continue to hold. Q3 mein aaya, and they gave the reason ki it is Diwali, all the workers have gone to their villages, so we can't clock our sales or meet our guidance. So yeah, that's also one of the stocks that I burnt my hands in. So yeah, I think that maybe that is one of the biases, it scarred me probably, and maybe that's why I don't track real estate. But also at the same time, I don't know, it's hard for me to get around the real estate. समझ में नहीं आता कि क्या pre-sales हो रहा है, cash नहीं दिख रहा है यहाँ पे. I don't know, it's too hard. So that's why I wouldn't be tracking it. Okay. So other than that, we have two Poison stocks right now we can talk about. One is LTTS and the other one is Tech Mahindra. Okay. Why am I calling it Poison is because if you look at the entire IT space over here, right, it is great. It used to be, not it is great, it used to be great. They used to perform really well 2020, 2021, I think a part of 2022 also. But after that, what happened, right? Everybody, that entire digital effect was no longer there. Now we have this AI that is taking over, which is really hitting, because of AI, a lot of things can be automated. So it is really hitting the service industry also. Not the SaaS industry really, but the service industry, I think. That takes a huge hit over here, right? Because anything that you can outsource and pay some human to do the work, the machine can do that for a simple reason. So if you look at LTTS, if you look at Tech Mahindra and everything, you see that the pace of growth has come down drastically from where they used to be, right? I know LTTS is probably better of the lot because sales grew 16% compared to, let's say, other things like TCS, Tech Mahindra, jiska sales is flat, right? It is great, but still LTTS ka sales is not good enough, right? Because think about it, आप 50,000 crore का market cap हो and you're growing at 15%. Tell me how will the shareholders make money? Tell me, and there is no EPS का growth also on top of that. Tell me how in the sane world can it make money? I still remember when this was in 2020, 2021, I think it was probably less than 10,000 crore market cap, and that time they were growing by 35%, and now they're growing by 16% at a 50,000 crore market cap, or like 45,000 crore market cap, right? So the pace of growth has come down very drastically from what it used to be, and the entire, I think more than pace of growth, you can see that the entire sentiment is not that great. There is no glimmer, there is no hope that that things will get better, things will get better, they can go back to that glory days. It's not that case, right? So that is why I would say Poison. I think Tech Mahindra is a bigger Poison compared to LTTS. I think like I told you, in the LTTS it is a much better player compared to Tata Elxsi, which degrew its sales by 3%, TCS 2%, HCL Tech grew by 8%, right? when you compare the entire IT का race, Tata Elxsi the last player -3%, Tech Mahindra flat, TCS I think 3%, HCL Tech 8%, so LTTS 16% by a huge margin it wins. But having said that, remember I think a video that I did a couple of days back, right? In certain sectors, it is not even worth to play the winner in that race. By the way, if you guys don't understand the concept of race, please get the investment checklist workshop, it will explain everything properly. Now getting back, there are certain races that are not worth taking part, because even the winner of the race is just not worth even looking at, right? Because you should be careful which race you're playing. Are you playing घोड़े का race या कछुआ का race? The entire IT industry right now is कछुआ का race. अगर आप fastest कछुआ को भी आप पकड़ के आप race में जाओगे ना, फिर भी you will not be able to meet the target. So that is LTTS for you. It is the fastest tortoise, but at the end of the day, you can't win a race with a tortoise, right? That is the point, okay? Then we have another IT company called as Onward Tech, okay? So again, this is a company that provides you software solution as well as this, mechanical engineering kind of solutions over here. Unka majority of the how do I tell you, of the sales comes from this mechanical division that is there, almost 50% that is there. Over here also, if you see, the sales grew like very decent, 15-16%, nothing great over here. Since, like last year, the base was so low, because of that, this entire 15% looks like a big deal. Again, the same thing over here, not very positive about anything. Again, another poison stock, the entire IT space you can tell, okay? After that, we have one more interesting company, that is Oriental Hotels. Okay, Oriental Hotels is a subsidiary of Indian Hotels, the same company that manages Taj Hotels. इनका भी अगर आप hotels का अगर आप क्या बोलते हैं, like the properties that they have this Taj and they have this Vivanta Taj, all of the different Taj ka portfolio brands that they have. Okay, interesting thing over here is the sales that is there. The sales grew 31%. Okay, the sales grew 31%, and the profits that are there, let me just once get that number. Yeah, it went from a loss-making quarter, like last June they made a loss of 1 crore. From that they went to up to 6 crore ka profit there. So you can see, right, a huge change in operating leverage. In fact, again, when you compare the entire hotel ka race, you have Banaras which grew by 15-18%, you have ITC which grew by 16%, and then you have Oriental Hotel which grew by 31%, twice the rate of ITC, and a much smaller base, because ITC is like a 50,000 crore market cap. This Oriental Hotel is like somewhere like 2,000, I think 500 or 3,000 crore ka market cap hai. So smaller base, higher growth rate, versus ITC, bigger base, choto growth rate. So obviously, where will you get P rating? Low base, high growth rate, right? That is the one place where you get. So that is a thing, great set of numbers over here. But the problem I have over here is I have lack of clarity, because see, whenever you talk about hotels, there are other metrics you need. Like you need to know what is the occupancy like, right? What was occupancy last year? What is occupancy this year? What has been the trajectory of occupancy? Second is you need the you need the average, what has been the room rent ka increase, right? Like we saw in ITC, ARR increased by 9%, which gave that push, to the top line. Over here with Oriental Hotels, yes, 31% ka sales growth there. But how much did it come from volume growth? How much did it come from value growth? How many hotels will you be putting up in the upcoming year? Will you be expanding your hotels? Will you be, putting up new rooms? Are you going to be, I think in the year 2024, they did some, in their Taj Malabar Hotel, they did some renovation work, right? That is the last update I know of. I do not know, like, agar inka, this 31% ka jo sales growth hai, is it sustainable? Because if I know, yes, they're putting up some new rooms, something, some sort of capex is happening over here, then you can at least figure out, like, theek hai, room ka capacity se itna CAGR aa raha hai. Let's add like 5 to 6% of ARR. You can get an estimation, like, what and where the company is headed. So although the result is great, it's fantastic, right? Great. But the problem over here is that only, like, where can the lack of clarity. You do not know a lot of information, and that makes me a bit uncomfortable, I would tell. Okay? So that is about, I would say, today's numbers. And then you have small companies such as RIIL, Reliance something. Then you have Switch Technologies. Then you have Treehouse, bolke company hai. Then, all these are shit companies. Stay away from them. Do not put your money behind them, especially companies like Switch Technologies, RIIL and all, like I know Switch people see like, oh, 20 crore ka market cap and everything, kitna sasta hai, but like bro, you're gonna lose your money here. It's like short way of falling inside a pothole, right? So that's it about the results on the 16th of July, right? I would say great over here is I mean, the good companies over here, I would say, is Ixigo. Ixigo is good, and then I would say Oriental Hotels also is good. Decent, I would say, is ITC Hotels. ITC Hotels is decent. Other than that, what is decent? Yeah, ITC Hotels is decent. Then you have Poison stocks. Poison stocks are Angel One, DB Corp, JTL Industries. You have JTL Industries. Then you have LTTS. Onward Technologies, these are like poison stocks, and shit stocks are RIIL, Switch Technologies, Treehouse, all of these are shit stocks. So yeah, I mean, now you have the list. Make sure you're tracking the companies and taking the right call. Read the con call, track the companies, read the investor PPT before putting your money behind it. At the end of the day, the only person who you can rely on is not me, is not anybody else, but you yourself. So make sure you are self-dependent, self-reliant. Read the PPT, read the con call, and then build your own conviction and put your money behind it. So when, let's say, the market is down, anything that happens, the only thing that is going to give you the confidence to hold that stock is your own conviction. Okay, so that is the thing. And if you guys want to learn how to analyze these companies, because see, we are in Q1 FY26, we are going to get bombarded with a lot of results. Each and every company is going to come out with its result, and if you want to understand how to seamlessly do it, get the investment checklist workshop. I'll bet my money, I'll bet my name on it, you will not regret buying the workshop. Anyways guys, that's that. Have a nice day, and tomorrow I will get the video out on the 17th of July. कौन सा result आया है, I will do that. And yeah, I'm kind of happy that I did 2 videos today. Anyways, take care, bye.